It is a celebration today in the WNBA dump. The Butt Bongo Band playing all the classics as dump divers enjoy the fiesta. We will miss layups. Or my new personal favorite, it's the remix to Ignition. R. Kelly is in prison and the WNBA's having trouble selling tickets, sipping on coke and rum. None of these players can dunk. The celebration of rainbows and cucumbers has been happening all day in the WNBA. Headline at Front Office Sports. WNBA lays out plans to expand to 18 teams. This level of growth is unprecedented. Break out the Ethiopian breadcrumbs to pay the dancers. It's time to party. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. Look, I am no expert in business. I'm damn sure not an expert in the business of pretend basketball, mainly because in their decades of existence, the WNBA has never been classified as a business. Even though I'm not an expert, I'm pretty sure the primary goal of most businesses make money. If that's the case, the WNBA is not a business, it is a charity. Now, I'm no expert in the charity of pretend basketball, but this expansion of the WNBA, it seems to be a bit premature. I would understand expansion if the vast majority of teams were selling tickets. I would understand expansion if there were stars spread throughout the league. But KC, the WNBA is filled with huge stars. They just set records for most votes in the All-Star game. Last I checked, voting for the WNBA All-Star game, that was free. There were millions of votes cast, yet for some reason, most of these arenas are filled to 70, maybe 80% capacity. This is why I don't understand expansion. You're struggling to sell out games with the 13 dumps that you have now, and now you're wanting to expand to 18? Not to mention the fact that this league has not generated a Vietnamese dong in profit. Forget about dollars. This league can't generate dongs. How many businesses do you know of that are expanding and they have never made a dime? Hell, how many organizations remain in business for almost 30 years while losing tens of millions of dollars? You want to know what socialism looks like? Look at the WNBA. This is what socialism looks like. The handouts are never enough. The subsidies are never enough. It's not enough to have 13 unprofitable dumps. Now they want 18. But the main reason I am questioning this expansion, it's because the growth of the WNBA, it's an illusion. This league is attempting to balance itself on a foundation that is incredibly insecure. Like I told you guys countless times, the WNBA is not growing in popularity. The popularity of this league is driven by one player, Caitlin Clark. Navisha Collier, who finished second in All-Star voting. Navisha Collier, great player, and from the interviews I've seen from her, Navisha Collier seems like a great woman. She received over 1 million votes for the All-Star game. Now, on the surface, you'd think she was the second most popular player in the league. Yet, for some reason, people are not paying to see Navisha Collier play basketball. The Minnesota Lynx, they average 9,300 in an arena that holds almost 19,000. The building where Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado play, it looks like the size of your local Walmart. The capacity is 10,000. Angel Reese can't sell out. The point is, expanding the WNBA is very risky. This league doesn't even have a collective bargaining agreement in place. Operations in the dump could be shut down here in about 4 months. And you're expanding? The truth is, the success of this expansion, hell, the success of the WNBA, it is 100% reliant on Caitlin Clark. But what happens if Caitlin Clark decides that she no longer wants to play in the WNBA? Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. I appreciate all of you guys who have sent me links to channels that are ripping my content. If you come across other channels that are ripping off my videos, shoot me an email, please. BTLKC84@gmail.com. YouTube notified me earlier this morning that they had taken down videos and hit one of the channels I reported over the weekend with a copyright strike. If that channel receives 2 more strikes, which they will as soon as I file these other claims, they will be banned from YouTube, I think for life. All of a sudden, the channel owner, he's reaching out to me and asking to collaborate. Please let me use your material. I'll pay you. Please, Uncle KC, I want to collaborate. There is no collaboration. If I walk into your gas station and steal money out of the cash register and then you bust me, are we going to collaborate? Here's how we're going to collaborate. Quit stealing my shit. Otherwise, I'm going to hit you with copyright strikes. Like I said the other day, I do not mind people using clips of my videos. If you want to use 60 seconds, 2 minutes, if you want to criticize me by showing my clips, I'm fine with that. I use clips from other people all the time. But these channels I'm talking about, they are ripping my entire video and then basically claiming it as their own. These channels, they profit off my image, my likeness, and I ain't with it. I mention this on WNBA videos because those are the videos that they're taking from me. So, I know you're watching. This is your warning. I've got about a dozen links waiting for me to file copyright claims. People send me new links almost on a daily basis. I promise you, my audience is more loyal to me than they are to you. So delete the videos, do what you got to do. Otherwise, you will be hearing from me very soon. Headline at Fox News. Author floats fascinating possibility of Caitlin Clark being focal point of breakaway basketball league. Uh-oh. When I initially saw this headline, I was skeptical about it. I figured this was some doofus author promoting some fictional story of Caitlin Clark launching her own league just to spite the WNBA. But the author they're talking about is Christine Brennan. Same Christine Brennan who has been covering the WNBA for years. The same Christine Brennan that jealous WNBA players tried to get banned from covering pretend basketball last year. Last week, Chrissy B, she was interviewed by ESPN Los Angeles. She mentioned the possibility of Caitlin Clark launching her own league. Now, on the surface, this sounds preposterous, but when you think about it, it's not that far-fetched. For starters, Nafisha Collier and Brianna Stewart, they just did the same thing with Unrivaled. But KC, Unrivaled was a huge, embarrassing failure. Yeah, of course it was. They didn't have the drawing power. They didn't have the star power to survive. Now, Unrivaled has been guaranteed a second season by TNT, but if the second season is a repeat of the first season, Unrivaled will be out of business, at minimum off television. Christine Brennan, she mentioned the partnerships that Caitlin Clark has with major corporations. She's got a $28 million deal with Nike. She's got deals with Gatorade, Wilson. Deals total around $40 million. Now, according to Christine Brennan, because of the complete lack of leadership in the WNBA, translation, because the diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, refuses to protect her star player, refuses to protect her only valuable asset. As you guys know, Caitlin Clark constantly manhandled in the WNBA. Busted eardrum, pokes in the eye, players shoving her from behind, the constant jealousy from other players, and Kat Engelbert doesn't do a damn thing about it. Because of that, there is a possibility that Caitlin Clark could collaborate with Nike or Wilson or maybe a combination of both and launch her own league. Now, obviously, the financial backing, that would not be an issue. My question is, would Caitlin Clark have the support of the players? This would be interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, Unrivaled was paying players significantly more than they were making in the WNBA. If this potential Caitlin Clark league did the same, would players be willing to cross over? Or would they be glad that Caitlin Clark is out of their league and they finally have the WNBA all to themselves? Which leads to number two. If Caitlin Clark were to do this, the WNBA is done. Ratings crash, attendance plummet. If you're a WNBA player, do you want to play in a Caitlin Clark league that people are actually watching? Or do you want to continue to play in the WNBA in front of empty seats and the occasional fly that flies directly over this turd? You know what I would do if I were Caitlin Clark? If the theory Christine Brennan presented is true and Caitlin Clark is considering launching her own league, that could take a couple of years to develop. You got to book arenas, which are booked well in advance. Got to negotiate TV deals, which I don't think that would be a problem. Networks would be lining up to gain access to a Caitlin Clark league. But those negotiations take time. The scheduling takes time. If I were Caitlin Clark, I would call up Nafisha Collier. I'd call up Brianna Stewart, which are the two ladies that launched Unrivaled. And I would say, I want a majority of the equity in your league. I'll bring in Nike. I'll bring in Wilson, maybe Gatorade. I'll bring financial resources, but I want equity in the league, and we will make Unrivaled work together. With Unrivaled, all the legwork is done. Got a TV deal. If I remember correctly, think they're already working on booking arenas. The only thing Unrivaled is missing is a mainstream draw. This league desperately needs a star. They need someone that gives people a reason to actually watch. They tried that with Angel Reese last season, and that resulted in the expected huge embarrassing failure. If I were advising Caitlin Clark, I would work with Nafisha Collier, who, from what I can tell, seems like a reasonable woman. Or she could just launch her own league. Either way, it's fascinating. But what do you think? Is there legitimacy to Christine Brennan's theory? Could Caitlin Clark potentially leave the WNBA to launch her own league? Or maybe collaborate with Unrivaled? If that were to happen, would the WNBA be able to survive it? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.